What's up guys, Max here, and this is a quick report on the current netcode that is being tested for Mortal Kombat X. The test that I got to take place in was on the Xbox version of the game, and I'm going to be further playing the PlayStation 4 version a bit later this week. There is only 4 characters available in this test for a very specific reason. That is Sub-Zero, Scorpion, JACQUI, and Johnny, and it only takes place on one stage. So this training stage you're going to see quite a bit with any of the match footage that goes on this channel for the netcode until they open it up to future characters, but there is a very specific reason they're doing this, and when you have certain stages and you have a specific amount of characters, it is a very finite test, because there are things that happen within netplay that is using rollback netcode, which is what MKX is trying to do now, where you get desyncing, where the game does not know where your inputs are properly matching up within the millisecond timing that it needs to preserve the netplay. And all that essentially means is sometimes it messes up and has no idea what's going on, and you'll get disconnected from your opponent unless you do a whole bunch of testing. If there's a bunch of proper testing from people all across the world, you get a lot of good data on how the hell you can preserve the match and preserve a good connection the entire time. So let's quickly talk about that. The connection quality. Essentially what you're going to be looking for in MKX is matches that are kind of under about 50 ms ping or 60 ms ping, and the game actually has an option now within the options menu to show the connection status based on ping, which is absolutely fantastic, and it means that they're taking this netplay thing very seriously. And for you guys that don't know, the lower the ping the better, and this is all in milliseconds, so there's 1,000 milliseconds in every second. So if you're connecting to somebody around like 16 milliseconds, that's approximately 1 frame, and the game runs to 60 frames per second. But the thing is, even if you connect to somebody at 100 milliseconds, you connect to them at 200, you connect to them at 50, the game with rollback netcode can actually emulate around 1 frame of delay, because it's using this thing called rollback, where it's actually predicting what you're doing in the future. It takes quite a bit of CPU power, and in order to make this happen, they pretty much had to redesign MKX's online play from the ground up. This isn't as simple as insert good netcode.exe. This took a lot of work, and I'm assuming that over the past like many months, probably 6 to 8 months or something like that, the game was heavily being redesigned for good netplay, which is pretty astounding. And the good news is that even though this is the first beta test, I will tell you guys from initial impressions, it's running pretty damn well. One of the best examples of really good netcode is Killer Instinct and other games like Darkstalkers Resurrection that have amazing netplay. Skullgirls is one as well, where you have maybe 1 frame of delay and it runs really smooth. But you'll notice within some of the match videos that the MKX matches you are watching are a little stuttery every once in a while, where the camera doesn't know exactly where to go, how to sync up, and stuff like that. You might remember from back from Street Fighter Cross Tekken, there was a big issue with the rollback netcode with that game where the audio would desync constantly. Once again, it's another desyncing thing that you have to consider. If the gameplay is going to roll back, so does the audio, so does the camera, so does the players, and so does everything else. The effects, it takes quite a bit of work to make everything match up and look correct on the screen. And some games have issues with this, and right now MKX has a little bit of an issue with this right now, but the good thing is that the gameplay is so much better than before. Some people will be complaining this looks worse, this does not look as good as the netplay did before. Well, in all honesty, yes, the netplay before was mostly very smooth visually, but performed terribly, upwards of like 5 to 10 frames of lag, if not more, when you are actually pressing a button, meaning that you're playing a fighting game, but you're mostly just predicting what your opponent is doing instead of reacting to what they are doing almost the entirety of the time if there's that much lag, which is not fun at all and very frustrating. Now, I'll give you a great example. When you're playing MKX with some of these characters, I was playing Sub-Zero because it's the only character within Cryomancer variation that I kind of know how to use. And these guys, the good guys that I was fighting against, were able to react and respond immediately to something like a full-screen ice ball from Sub-Zero, which has normally a lot of recovery. And you could get away with online before because people couldn't respond that fast. Now, because there was such a small amount of input delay when people were playing, they were punishing me immediately with Scorpion with a teleport from the other side of the screen. And I was being very random and haphazard about it to try to see what they would do. And man, I would sit there, walk forward, walk back. Do you think I'm going to throw it? Do you think I'm not going to throw it? And as soon soon as he would do the charge up thing, they would teleport and punish me. Not something you would see very frequently on previous netplay experiences with something like Mortal Kombat, and now you can't get away with that stuff online. Some people will be disappointed with this netplay because you're not going to be able to get away with a lot of the things that you could have been throwing out haphazardly in MKX before, because now they can properly be punished online. It's a little crazy, because I've never really experienced MK like this outside of just playing with, like, local friends and things like that. It's kind of awesome, and it preserves the experience, and I never really got super frustrated at the game. The best part about playing this beta was that I ran into a lot of really good guys, and some of these guys I was like, damn, there's no way I can beat this dude. But through the process of playing them 3 or 4 matches, I start to see their patterns, I start to understand what's going on, I start remembering how to play Mortal Kombat, because I only get to play the game once or twice a month or every 2 months. And I was starting to win matches, and I was starting to go toe-to-toe with some of these guys that are really good, and what am I doing? I'm actually playing a fighting game. I'm learning, responding, and going at the things that you need to do to actually get better, and you can do it now. That was the thing that blew my mind at the end of this test, even though I wasn't using the characters I'm very good with, and I was trying to do my best with one that is definitely not nearly as good as the other variations, like Grandmaster's way better than Cryomancer. But it was enjoyable, and I was very much looking forward to using other characters like Predator and Takeda that require a little bit more execution than I understand a little bit more, because that future seems really exciting. But like I said, it's not perfect. It was very crazy to play Mortal Kombat in a way I've never played it before online with such little delay. But there was a little jitteriness with the characters, and the good thing is that because this is an early test, that is what is going to get worked on. Right now, I'd give the netplay probably an 8 to an 8.5 out of 10. The gameplay portion is running really good right now, but it isn't visually as smooth, which can affect the gameplay and how you react to certain things. But the good thing is all the guys at MK that have been talking about the netcode, Ed on Twitter, a couple of the other developers, have said this is the first version of this thing actually being playable in public, and it'll definitely get better, where the visuals are going to be more consistent with what's going on. You're not going to get as much small micro stuttering everywhere. That's the stuff that can get figured out with this kind of rollback netcode, where the rollback is more precise about what is displaying to the player a much smoother experience. And the other big negative is that if you have trashy internet, even rollback netcode that is used for a lot of fighting games can't work wonders. You're going to see guys teleporting all over the place if their internet connection is really bad. And one thing that you want to look forward to that actually causes a lot of stuttering within online fighting games is the fluctuation of the connection. You'll see at the bottom of the page there's that millisecond ping. Well, if you see that thing going from like 60 milliseconds and it flies up to 250 and it goes down to 10 and it goes up to 80, that causes a lot of jitter, and having that much jitter in your connection causes really big issues, and it's not a good thing. If you see that happening all the time, contact your local cable service provider or whoever provides your internet. You can also look up a jitter test on certain websites to find out how good or bad your jitter is, but all in all, Mortal Kombat X is running way better than I thought it could. I just want to see more stuff. I can't wait for Combat Pack 2 to come out. Hopefully this netcode will be available when it does. And also, a lot of people are asking me if the netcode is going to be an additional purchase upgrade. I guarantee you it won't be, but I don't know, and if it is, that would really suck. I highly doubt they would make a netcode upgrade DLC, because that would only cause a bunch of problems in the future. You're segregating the community between people that have bad netcode and people that are using the good one, which would already further shrink the online availability of players in a fighting game, which isn't nearly as big as other games like giant first-person shooters and stuff like that. There's a very low chance of that happening, and it'll most likely be a free DLC update that'll happen to the game. There's most likely going to be issues when it comes out as well, but right now it's running pretty good. If you guys get a chance to play with the Mortal Kombat X new net play within the beta, let me know how it goes. I hope they do another beta eventually where we can test out a different part of it with maybe some more characters. That would be very cool, and I'm going to let you guys know more about the PlayStation 4 version as it comes out a little bit later. As always, guys, thank you a ton for watching. Thank you for hanging out. My name is Max, and I'll see you next time.
Sub-Zero wins.